A lot of people here have spoken to somebody at the tissue bank. Of those people, I'm sure a lot don't remember much of the conversation. Most of the time, we're speaking to people just hours after they've lost someone they love. Your life has changed forever, and you're trying to process this new world. I know that after someone passes away, there are lots of things that need to be done, lots of people to call, and lots of arrangements to make. Sometimes it's calling VON nurses, speaking with the RCMP, making funeral arrangements, or having to make that dreaded phone call to other loved ones. Many of those things are absolutely necessary, and people often push through them in a sort of autopilot. That or someone close to them steps in and takes over. Tissue donation is something different altogether. It's not something that's required, it's not the law, it's not mandatory, it's a gift. And it amazes me every time I speak with a family that at the saddest of times, they are so selflessly willing to make tissue donation a reality for their loved one. So many times I hear people say, he was such a giving person, he always wanted to help, I know this is what he would have wanted. And when they say those things, we hear warmth and love in their voice, and not the sorrow that comes with losing somebody. It's incredible how the worst circumstances can often bring out the true beauty in humanity. For us at the tissue bank, it's incredibly humbling to be part of those conversations, to be part of the final act of altruism to help families give meaning to a heartbreaking loss. We're able to facilitate something that carries such immeasurable worth, something that stretches far beyond generosity and I think into philanthropy. And not only does it carry such meaning for the families, but it really is such a rewarding experience for us at the tissue bank. It's incredibly humbling to have these conversations with you. The strength that you show surpasses our own on many occasions. I've had conversations with daughters who've lost their fathers, where my voice was cracking and not theirs. I've spoken with wives who were able to laugh and giggle when I asked them intimate details about their husbands who just passed away. I've met with parents who are making the heartbreaking decision about losing their baby, and it's all I can do to keep it together, yet mom is still smiling when she talks about her son's favorite blanket. It's in these moments that I know without a shadow of a doubt that we're doing good work, that we're making these dark days just a little less dark. I think in any profession, particularly in the healthcare sector, there are moments, days, or even weeks that might make you question whether you're doing the right job. I think it's fair to say that everyone in the tissue bank has had these moments. Moments when the work is so heartbreaking, we don't think we have the strength that the families deserve from us. Moments when we feel the weight of the heartache we see every day will break our spirit. Speaking with the loved ones that a person has left behind is a very personal and intimate experience. It's equally as personal for the team who is in the operating room. When we walk into the OR, we're keenly aware that a life has been lost. They're not bodies to us, they're people. They're people who weren't expecting to be with us that day. They're people who come in wearing the clothes they picked out that morning. They come in wearing their wedding rings. They come in with photos of their children in their wallets. And they come in with cell phones that still ring. In some cases, they knew they weren't going to see the end of that day. And they come in with notes to their loved ones, handwritten and neatly folded in their pocket. Something that really resonated with me just a few weeks ago was when I was in the OR with a gentleman who had become a tissue donor. I had reached down beside the stretcher to lower the rail, and my eyes fell on his watch. There was something particularly powerful about that watch still ticking. A reminder that this man's world goes on, but it goes on without him. And that's a very real, very sad thought. These are moments that remind us that life has been lost, that countless people are now without someone they love. Those moments are difficult, but they give us clarity and remind us why we do this job. We bring meaning to loss, to provide even just a moment's solace to the people who are now facing a world without their loved one. And for every one of those moments, there's the accompanying pride we feel when we're able to help a family give that final gift of tissue donation. Just as every one of us in the tissue bank has had moments of doubt when the circumstances are just too sad to bear, we've all had moments when we knew for certain that we're doing the work that we were meant to do. Last year, I was speaking to a mom who had lost her daughter. This little girl was only 13 years old, and mental illness had taken her away. Her mom had found her only hours before I phoned. This mom, who was an absolute pillar of strength, took the time to speak with me and consented to her daughter becoming a tissue donor. At the end of our conversation, I thanked her, and she said no. Thank you for what you do. You make this just a little bit easier. had no words for this lady. I had nothing to say. What do you say to that? Her little girl, who had just barely reached her teens, had taken her own life, and this woman is thanking me. So I managed to compose myself enough to finish the conversation, and then I hung up the phone and dumbstruck. And then I sat at my desk and I cried. And that was my moment. That's when I knew I was doing what it should be. That I knew that our work makes a difference. As much heartache and sadness as we see every day, we also get to see beautiful moments of care and compassion. Megan, a colleague of mine, had a really touching moment with her family just over a year ago. A gentleman was near the end of his life, and Meg was on the phone with his wife as well as his mother for the donation conversation and paperwork. The mother was on the phone in one room of the house, and the wife was on another phone on another level of the house so they could both participate in the process with Meg. During the conversation, the mother's voice cracked and she broke down. As soon as she heard the mother break, the wife was running down the stairs, saying, I'm coming, it's okay," desperate to be next to the mother to comfort her. Meg was still on the phone. She fell silent and let them have their moment, witnessing a truly pure exchange of emotion. The mother told her daughter-in-law how much she loved her, and the daughter-in-law told the mother that they will always be family and they will never drift apart. It was pure, it was raw, and it was truly beautiful for Meg to be a part of. After this man's donation, Meg wrote his family a beautiful letter outlining his gift and wishing them comfort in their memories of him. He also told them how truly touching it was to speak with them that day. About a year later, Meg received a phone call from one of the women who wanted her to know that they were having a celebration of this man's life. She wanted Meg to know because they were going to be reading her letter to everybody at the celebration. Meg was so humbled by this. To know that you had such a sincere impact on someone at such a tragic time is validation that you're making a difference. We're also fortunate enough to bear witness to moments when we see in our colleagues the empathy and compassion that this kind of career necessitates. I was in the OR last year with two other tissue bank staff, Mark and Duncan. It's my first pediatric recovery. We took her into the OR, and this little girl was beautiful. She was tiny. She looked only about half her age. Her little toenails were painted pink. She had porcelain skin and thick black hair. She looked like a miniature Snow White. And I had to walk out of the room. Emotion and compassion can help you succeed in this career, or they can greatly hinder you. And I was walking a very fine line. I stepped out, I let myself have a moment, and then I was ready. I was ready to go into the OR and carry on, and we did. I scooped her up in my arms, and I gingerly laid her down on the OR bed, and then we helped her give one last gift to this world. And I'll never forget what I saw just before we left that OR. I was finishing up some paperwork, and the room became really quiet. No clinking of instruments, no rustle of drapes, no footsteps, nothing. I turned around and I saw Mark and Duncan hovering over this little girl. They were smoothing out her gown, they were brushing her hair out of her eyes, and they were wiping her little face. They were taking care of her. And my heart swelled, because I was so proud and so honored to be working with a team of such caliber and grace. There are so many moments for us that are laced with a deep feeling of gratitude towards these families, towards you, for allowing us to help you through the first few hours after your loss. We have so many heartwarming stories we could fill books, let alone a few minutes on a Sunday afternoon. And all these tender moments, all these feelings of compassion and beautiful acts of humanity, they don't happen because of the tissue bank. They happen because of all of you. So I encourage you to seek out the tissue bank table and chat with us, because I know there are some people here who would love to hear how you're doing. Thank you.